development life cycle. So let's start. What is application development? Application development is the process of designing, building, and implementing software applications. It can be done by massive organizations with large teams working on projects or by single freelance developer. Application development defines the process of how the application is made and generally follows a standard methodology. Application development is closely linked with the software development life cycle or the SDLC. The basic stages of SDLC: the planning, analysis, design, construction, testing, implementation, and support. Three categories of application development methodologies: the Waterfall, Rad, and Agile. Methods of app development. Let's start with Waterfall development. The keywords for the Waterfall method of application development are planning and sequence. The entire project is mapped out in the planning and analysis stage. The customer comes with a very explicit list of features and functionalities for the application. Then a project manager takes the whole process and maps it out among the team. Waterfall values solid planning. This application development method is called waterfall because once you go down, you can't go back up. Everything flows downward. That means that everything is planned and mapped out in the planning and analysis stage of this life cycle. The waterfall method works on the basis that the project requirements are clear and that there's a collective vision that unified when it comes to the result that they want from the app itself. The team in place for the application development will work to build exactly what has been outlined as the requirements. After the design stage has been completed, the development of the app begins. Once it's built, it then tested and shown the customer, then launch. It is a linear and sequential app development methodology in which each project task follows after the previous one previous one is completed. Waterfall projects are accomplished in a single and very long cycle. Project managers are responsible for thoroughly planning project execution and running the project in a strict sequence based on the requirements specification. In cases of failed scenarios, the development teams have to repeat all stages from design to implementation. All the requirements are defined at the beginning of the project, and each phase is completed before moving towards the next stage. Project managers track the progress and make sure there is no overlapping in the stage. Next, waterfall advantage. Clear structure. When compared with other methodologies, waterfall focuses mostly on a clear, defined set of steps. Even before the development process starts, the design is hammered out in detail, which makes the needs and the outcome clear to everyone in the team. Next, easy to manage and control. Each stage has its own reliability and procedures as well as specific deliverable and review processes. Due to the clarity of all the stages, waterfall is easy to manage. All the tasks can be arranged easily by following the hierarchy. QA tests. Scenarios are already defined in the functional specification of the project, which makes the testing process easier and most transparent. If a bug is detected during a certain stage, it is fixed instantly and the problem gets resolved. Next, it's more suitable for well-defined projects where the requirements are ambiguous and the value proposition is proven. Next, it is very meticulous. A detailed specification allows new team members to become familiar with the project quickly. Cost and time requirements are known at the start of the project. Waterfall Disadvantage. Unlike Agile, this methodology does not allow for discovery, iteration, and refinement while developing the product. Instead, new requirements must be written. This methodology is not suitable for projects where client or business requirements may change during development. Let's proceed to Scrum. So, Scrum is a part of the Agile methodology. It is a way more prescriptive in nature, requiring certain components. Scrum is quite rigid in expecting team commitment, with the Scrum Master being solely responsible for ensuring Scrum is properly understood and implemented. Scrum is a framework for effective collaboration among teams working on complex products. Scrum is a type of agile technology that consists of meetings, roles, and tools to help teams working on complex projects collaborate and better structure and manage their workload. Although it is most often used by software development teams, Scrum can be beneficial to any working toward a common goal. The core principle of Scrum are division and optimization. Everything that can be split into smaller parts should be divided. The developer should cut down their work into small pieces, distribute them among team members, and do one piece of work at a time. Besides that, Scrum stipulates that the team should improve the process all the time by asking for customers' feedback. Processes of Scrum. The product owner creates a list of all the tasks involved in completing the project and their priority, called a product backlog. The Scrum team analyzes the product backlog and divides all major tasks into smaller, easier to manage one. The team then creates a sprint backlog and decides how it's going to be implemented. The length of each sprint is determined, with average duration being between 2 and 4 weeks. The team usually holds daily meetings for the entire duration of a sprint, with each member sharing their daily updates and the project manager analyzing the project's progress based on the newly received information. At the end of each sprint, the product owner and the organization stakeholders review the results. Scrum Advantage. Remove ambiguities. The Scrum framework itself is simple. The rules, artifacts, events, and roles are easy to understand. Due to its semi-prescriptive approach, Scrum can help to remove the ambiguities in the development process, while providing enough space for individuality for development teams. Good organization. The organization of complex tasks is manageable. Pieces make it a good fit for large-scale projects. The clear demarcation of responsibilities and schedule activities help to ensure that there is transparency and shared control of the development process. Quick releases keep the team motivated and customers satisfied, since they can see progress in a short time. Next, it's adaptable and flexible. Scrum is suitable for a wide variety of environments and situations that don't initially have clearly identifiable requirements and require a flexible approach. Next, it's encourage creative approach, which is with Scrum teams working together and analyzing ideas from all its members. Creativity is encouraged and new ideas are likely to appear. Next, it involves low cost. Adopting the Scrum approach can be cost effective for an organization as it is usually requires less documentation and control. It usually leads to better quality work. Having everyone on the team take full responsibility and ownership of their work can create a productive environment from leads to high quality end result. Next, it improves customer satisfaction. Having everyone on the team working to the best of their abilities and constantly adjusting based on internal and external feedbacks can result in products and solutions that are popular with customers. Next, it typically results in more satisfied employees. With everyone on the team taking full responsibility for their works, the Scrum frameworks make it more likely that the employees involved in a project are motivated and satisfied. Scrum Disadvantage. It requires extensive training. Although using the Scrum framework can potentially deliver quick and highly quality results, it requires a well-trained and skillful team to properly implement it. Before committing to Scrum, everyone within the team needs to understand the benefits and particularities of this approach for the project to be a successful one. Next, it can be difficult to scale. Using the Scrum approach for large projects can be challenging, as implementing it on a bigger scale requirements or requires extensive training and precise coordination. Although ways to adapt Scrum to bigger projects have been developed, they're usually difficult to understand and implement. Next, it may require major transformation within the organization. Adapting the Scrum framework sometimes means that the company needs to undergo some organizational transformations for the decision to be a successful one. Some parts of the process may require different departments to collaborate and work as a team, with the company needing to manage and organize this collaboration in a way that allows that to happen. Next, it can be difficult to integrate with a classic project management approach. Although it is usually a good solution for projects that need constant adjustment, the Scrum approach may not be suitable for projects that requires predictability and well-defined plan. However, this kind of projects can be approached by using a hybrid solution that encapsulates some of the advantage of a classic long-term planning and those of the Scrum framework. Next is, it is not related to the project deadline. Although adapting the Scrum methodology involves many smaller deadlines for everyone involved, it doesn't offer any support for the project meeting its overall deadline. Although this approach increases the odds of everyone involved working to the best of their abilities and meeting expectations. The project manager and stakeholders also need to make sure that the project is on track to be complete on time. Next is it requires the use of small teams. The Scrum methodology usually works best with teams of at least 3 people but no more than 10. Although this can promote collaboration and teamwork, some organizations may find it difficult to rearrange their workforce into teams. Last is it requires experienced personnel. Adapting the Scrum methodology involves extended periods of intense work, and everyone involved needs to have experience and skills to quickly and successfully perform their own tasks. Everyone on the team needs to be able to execute and provide educated feedback on the result and overall process. Rapid Application Development, or the RAD or RAD. So what is RAD? A new method emerged called Rapid Application Development, or RAD. RAD was the opposite of the Waterfall Method. RAD is based mostly on prototypes, meaning that the goal is to produce a working version of the application as quickly as possible and then to continuously iterate after that. The application development team and the customer work very closely with each other throughout the process. RAD teams are usually small and only involve experienced developers who are skilled in many disciplines. If a project needs to divert from the original plan, RAD should be able to accommodate that easily. RAD is a development model that prioritizes rapid prototyping and quick feedback over long drawn-out development and testing cycles. So here in the RAD model, as each iteration is completed, the product gets more and more refined. The early prototypes are often very rough, but give a picture of what can be. Each iteration looks more like the finished product. RAD is a great application development method for an experienced team of developers, a highly engaged customer, a flexible delivery date, and pressing business. Steps in rapid application development. So, one, define the requirements. At the very beginning, rapid application development set itself apart from traditional software development models. It doesn't require you to sit with end users and get a detailed list of specifications. Instead, it asks for a broad requirement. The broad nature of the requirements help you take the time to segment specific requirements at different points of the development cycle. Number two, prototype. This is where the actual development takes place. Instead of following a rigid set of requirements, developers create prototypes with different features and functions as fast as they can. These prototypes are then shown to the clients who decide what they like and what they don't. More often than that, these prototypes are quickly made to work to showcase just the key features. This is normal, and the final product is only created during the finalization stage where the client and developer are in alignment with the final product. Rapid construction and feedback gathering. Rapid construction is where application coding, system testing, and unit integration occurs, converting prototype and beta system into a working model. This phase may also be repeated as required. Supporting new components and alterations. Generally, generally teams use low-code or rapid application development tools to quickly progress the applications. Since the major of user problems and client change are addressed during the iterative prototyping phase, developers are able to construct a final working model faster than they would following a traditional development approach. Software and applications are thoroughly tested during the phase. ensuring the end result satisfies clients' expectations and objectives. Developers work with clients and end users to collect feedback or interface and functionality and improve all aspects of the product. Clients give true input throughout this stage, suggesting alterations, changes, or new ideas that solve problems as they are discovered. Clients may find that in practice, some concepts don't work. With this input, developers either resume prototyping or, if feedback is strictly passive, more onto the final steps. Finally, finalize product implementation. The final phase of rapid application development is where developers address the technical debt accrued in early prototyping, optimizing implementation to improve stability and maintainability as they finalize the product for launch. Components are moved to a live production environment where full-scale testing occurs to identify product bugs. The implementation phase is where development teams move components to live production environment where any necessary full-scale testing or training can take place. Teams write through documentation and complete other necessary maintenance tasks before confidently handling the client a complete product. Next, Rad Advantage. Requirements can be changed at any time. Encourage and prioritize customer feedback. Reviews are quick. Development time is drastically reduced. More productivity with fewer people. The time between prototypes and iteration is short. Integration is not a problem since it integrates the project inception. The RAD disadvantage. RAD needs a strong team collaboration. RAD cannot work with large team. RAD needs highly skilled developers. Needs user requirements throughout the life cycle of the product. It is only suitable for projects which have a small development time. More complex to manage when compared to other models. Only system which can be modularized can be developed using rapid application development. Agile. So what is Agile? Here, the Agile methodology comprises several short cycles within 2 to 3 weeks, thus ensuring risk minimization. After the completion of each cycle, the app development teams reports the result to the client and if needed to do changes upon customer requests, thus allowing the client to have the full control of the development process. Next, it takes more than one cycle to build a fully fledged product, but each iteration shows part of the functionality that can be tested and changed. After each cycle, the development team summarizes the result and client feedback to make the necessary adjustment to the development plan. Agile application development is very similar to RAD, but also includes some changes to make it more suitable to larger projects. Agile is iterative like RAD, but focuses on building features one at a time. Each feature is built in a methodical way in the team, but the customer is involved to see the features and sign off on them before the next feature is developed. Agile uses sprints or set of time when a certain feature should be built, tested, and presented. It tries to incorporate the entire SDLC for a feature into each sprint. This ideally helps to stick to a planned schedule, but also allow for frequent reviews. Agile doesn't focus on prototypes but only present complete work after the sprint is over. So while the customer is informed more often than Waterfall, the customer only oversees finished work unlike Rad. Agile project management methodology is also more team or squad based. With Rad, you are working directly with the programmer, while Agile, the application development team, will also include testers, UX designers, technical writers, and many others. Agile is a great application development methodology when the project is large enough to break down into several sprints. You have a lot of specialists who can work on a team together. The bulk of project is known ahead of time and can be planned out. You have a good project leaders in place. The advantages of Agile. Number one, customer satisfaction is rapid, continuous development and delivery of useful software. Customer, developer, and product owner interact regularly to emphasize rather than processes and tools. Product is developed fast and frequently delivered. A face-to-face conversation is the best form of communication. It continuously gave attention to technical excellence and good design. Daily and close cooperation between business people and developers. Regular adaptation to changing circumstances. Plus, even late changes in requirements are welcome. Uh, More advantages of Agile, more thoroughly planning. It may be difficult to plan the entire development process at the beginning. With Agile methodology, you can break the app development process into stage and prepare a plan for each step separately and fix bugs after each stage of the implemented functionality, thus saving time and resources. Quick change. Since the development process is divided into sprints, it is easy and convenient to make the change in the app. When the project is almost at the final stage, Agile approach minimizes the risk of some severe bugs to occur. Always in touch with the client. If there is something in the app the client would like to change at any stage, it can be easily done without disrupting the development processes. The developers are always in touch with the client, providing the results when each sprint is finished. Disadvantages of Agile. It is not useful for small development projects. There is a lack of intensity on necessary designing and documentation. 3. It requires an expert project member to take crucial decisions in the meeting. Cost of Agile development methodology is slightly more as compared to other development methodology. 5. The project can quickly go out of track if the project manager is not clear about requirements and what outcome he/she wants. Steps in the Agile methodology. First, project planning. Like with any project, before beginning, your team should understand the end goal. the value to the organization or client, and how it will be achieved. You can develop a project scope here, but remember that the purpose of using Agile project management is to be able to address changes and additions to the project easily. So the project scope should not be seen as unchangeable. Number two, product roadmap creation. A roadmap is a breakdown of the features that will make up the final product. This is a crucial component of planning stage of Agile because your team will build these individual features during each sprint. At this point, you will also develop a product backlog, which is a list of all the features and deliverables that will make up the final product. When you plan sprints later on, your team will pull tasks from this backlog. Number three, release planning. In traditional waterfall project management, this is one implementation date that comes after an entire project has been developed. When using Agile, however, your project uses shorter development cycles with features released at the end of each cycle. Before kicking off the project, you'll make a high-level plan for feature releases and the beginning of each sprint. You'll revisit and recess the release plan for the features. Number four, sprint planning. Before each sprint begins, the stakeholders need to hold a sprint planning meeting to determine what will be accomplished by each person during that sprint, how it will be achieved, and assess the task load. It's important to share the load evenly among team members so they can accomplish their assigned tasks during the sprint. You also need to visually document your workflow for team transparency, shared understanding within the team, and identifying and removing bottlenecks. Next, daily stand up. To help your team accomplish their tasks during each sprint and assess whether any changes need to be made, hold short daily stand up meetings. During these meetings, each team member will briefly talk about what they accomplished the day before and what they will be working on the day. These daily meetings should be only 15 minutes long. They are not meant to be extended problem solving sessions or a chance to talk about general news items. Some teams will even hold these meetings standing up to keep it brief. Number six, sprint review and retrospective. After the end of each sprint, your team will hold two meetings. First, you will hold a sprint review with the project's stakeholders to show them the finished product. This is important part of keeping open communication with stakeholders. An in-person or video conference meeting allows both groups to build a relationship and discuss product issues that arise. Second, you will have a retrospective meeting with your stakeholders to discuss what went well during the sprint, what could have been better, whether the task load was too heavy or too light for each member, and what was accomplished during the sprint. If your team is new to Agile project management, don't skip this essential meeting. It helps you gauge how much your team can tackle during each sprint and the most efficient sprint length for the future projects. Okay, that's all. Thank you.